Hello, welcome back to Move Ahead with Dalia. On today's show, my guest is Yemina Roldan, the Site Supervisor at the North Children's Center for Metropolitan Family Services. Hi, Yemina. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. I'm excited to have you here so we can talk about the Children's Center that you're at. First of all, tell me a little bit about Metropolitan Family Services and how long they've been serving the community.
So Metropolitan Family Service is a non-for-profit company that is a social service company that's been around since 1857. So that's over 150 years.
Nice.
Basically, we are here to empower the families and, help them find resources so that if they are like down on their luck, we can help them get back up and, not have to struggle anymore.
Yeah. Very important in our community. So you're the site supervisor for the North Children's Center. And so I'd love for you to tell me a little bit more about the center itself, how many families it serves, and why is it a vital part of the community?
Okay. So the center itself has been open for 15 years. I think they opened that particular center back in 2008 in January. 2008,
okay.
Was it? Yeah, 2008.
Okay.
And one of the big things that we do is that we help, families that are struggling financially with having quality childcare center. And that is our main focus and that's why we're a vital part of not just the north side, but, we also have other centers, on the south side and in Midway, but it's really important to be accessible and be visible to families who can't afford quality childcare, and that's what we can provide for them, the quality childcare.
Yeah, definitely. We know how expensive childcare can be. And it's important that children at a very young age, right, that they get exposed to early education. Mm-hmm. And like you said, quality resources for them to be healthy, right? Mm-hmm. So very important programs that you have. How many families does the center serve right now?
Right now, we are currently serving 32 families. Okay. We have 51 children enrolled in the program.
Okay. And are there still slots available for children and what ages?
So we do have 4 slots available currently, but it's just for 4-year-olds. It's really hard getting 4-year-olds right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. How about you share a little bit about your background and tell me a little bit about your journey to Metro Family.
To Metro. So I've been in early childhood. Actually, I was a Head Start child myself.
Right.
But I've been in early childhood since I was 19 years old. I made my way up the ladder. I started as a program aide. I made my way up to, a site supervisor.
Wow.
But my journey started at Metro, and I started as a family support worker. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I chose Metro is because I was struggling financially. I was struggling. I had to go and find food at the shelters, mm-hmm. and and that was a very bottom,
yeah, I'm sure very difficult time.
Difficult time for us as a family. We were able to. I went back to school because that's not what I wanted for myself and for my family. Mm. But I had education, and I knew, where to go and where to find the resources. When I was in school, I met somebody who was working for Metro. And she just talked amazing things about Metro. And I'm like, well, I have to check them out. So I Googled and I checked them out. And I was like, that's who I want to work for. I want to work for them. I love the values that they had. And when I became a family support worker, and that was back in 2017, I was able to help families that were in my care find those resources that I knew that I needed. Like, I needed to help find food, I would help them find food. Car seats, food, clothing and diapers is just so important, because if I can give you diapers, then you can spend your money on food.
Yeah.
And you can spend your money on paying your bills. If I can find you, extra clothes. I know the clothes might be used, a little worn, but any help that you can get is amazing. And if I don't have to spend any money on buying clothes for, toddlers, because they grow so fast, then I can spend it on food, or I can spend it on rent. And so I think that in itself is so vital and so important for somebody who is down on their luck and is trying to bring themselves up so that, they're not struggling anymore. And that's what kind of got me going, right? And then because I had already been an early childhood teacher, a position opened up, and I was like, oh, well, let's do that. And so I applied for this. So I moved up. I became, a lead teacher, and I was at the Learning and Wellness Center. Mm-hmm. And then a position opened up a couple of years later as the assistant site supervisor. So I got promoted to that.
Wow.
And then not too long after that, the position for the site supervisor became open, and they offered it to me, and I accepted.
Well, it's humbling, I'm sure, for you to be in a position now to be able to help these families that at one point you were in their situation,
yes,
right?
Yes. And not only that, I also strongly advocate, for my teachers as well.
Yeah.
Because I know, at least for myself, I know that I didn't want to be in debt. That was, so I only had an associate's degree, and I went back and I got my bachelor's degree. And so now I have that debt. But I was able to find grants through Metro, because they helped us find these grants to go back to school, so that I got my teaching license, and I also got my master's degree.
Wow.
And this is all through the support of the leadership at Metro in the early learning program.
Yeah.
They helped me, navigate through all of this. And so now what I do is I encourage my teachers to go back to school, and I help them find those resources. Here's where you can get extra money. This is free money, because there's a Gateway scholarship program that gives subsidizing to teachers as well, where you get extra money.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is just apply. Mm-hmm. And then there's scholarships too, where you can go back to school, and it's absolutely free, and they pay for everything.
Wow.
So again, I'm giving back to the community. When I was doing it by myself, I kind of struggled a little bit, but I found my way. And so my goal is to just make it easier for my teachers and the families to get the resources that they need.
Yeah, and it speaks volumes about the organization, that it is giving back to the employees to help them improve their lives with education. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's so, so important. Yes. So that's I'm really glad you mentioned that. Yeah. So now you're the site supervisor there, and you mentioned there's how many families that you're serving right now?
Right now we're serving 32
families,
mm-hmm.
Just over 50 children,
yes.
Right? Where are the other locations for this children's centers?
So we have another location on is Garfield and Loomis on the south side, and then we have another one on 63rd Street, also by Midway.
Okay.
The Loomis is called the Learning and Wellness Center, okay. And that one actually accepts infants to 5-year-olds. Mm-hmm. My center and the center at Midway, we only take 2-year-olds to 2 to 5.
2 to 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and the Midway one, 2 to 5.
2 to 5. Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned, I read, and then we talked about the at-home services. Talk a little bit about that.
So one of the things that we do also offer, and not just those 3 locations, we have another one in Calumet, where it's the home visiting program. And that's the program that I actually started with. I was a family support worker for the home visiting program.
Okay.
And what this is that the teachers actually go to the parents' house. And that one is from when the mom is pregnant up until the child is 3 years old. So once the mom is pregnant and she gets into the program, the teachers kind of go over to their house and they kind of talk about, the pregnancy and how it's going. What can they do to help and educate the child when it's still, in vitro, and you read the stories and to the child and sing songs and just things like that. So the early learning starts from when they're still
when they're in the womb.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And so as the program goes by, once the baby is born, the FSW or the teacher also helped the family. There was many cases when I was a family support worker where, the families didn't even know where to get a birth certificate, or they didn't have the money to get a birth certificate. And we would find, the resources to kind of help them navigate that too, and navigating how to go to the city of Chicago to get the birth certificate, and just kind of hold their hands through the whole process, because it could be really scary sometimes, especially if you're a single mom or if you're a teenage mom and you just don't know where to start. And that's what we're here for, to just kind of hold your hand through the whole process. And it's not that scary afterwards.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I feel like that this is another reason why I wanted to have you on the podcast, is to expose your center and the organization to the community a little bit more. Clearly, you're in the community already, but a little bit more to people that may not be aware of the services for the children, for the moms, and for the families, especially like you mentioned, who may be financially struggling and think that there is no help for them. We talked a little bit earlier before the podcast about sometimes, children may need some special services. And if they are only, the parents work and the child may only be, with a sibling or a grandmom or, an uncle or aunt, the child may not be getting services that they need. And sometimes, they don't even go to the doctor. So these are so important, especially the at-home, I think, is just an incredibly important program and service for the financially struggling families.
Yeah. So that program, what I love about it is that the teachers go to the house, to the parents' house, once a week. Yeah. And it's for 90 minutes. So that's not a big time frame, right, if you look at it, but it makes a deep impact, because the teacher will go and will model how to play with your child. You have the different activities, and then she'll explain why they're doing these activities and how it's developmentally helping the child. And if she sees any red flags, like if she sees that the child maybe is not, because we all take developmental classes as well, and we know developmentally where a child should be. And we'll have that, like, oh, let's take a screening. So we'll do a screening, we'll ask some questions, and depending on that, we'll be able to say, we need to have a referral so that, we can have a specialist do an official screening to see if this child needs, services like either behavior or, occupational or physical or even speech. And we'll guide the parent through the entire process. And then if they do qualify for their services, we will just help them through that as well. And, we will be more of we will collaborate together with the family and, the therapist to make sure that, everything the child is needing that they get. So we're there to support the family. And a lot of families don't want to admit that their child needs services, but it's really important to get these services to the children as early as possible, because we've seen it where if you get it when they're really young, then by the time they're 3, they might not even need it anymore.
Right.
And that is wonderful. A lot of parents get scared and they think, that, once their child gets special services, that they're going to be labeled as special needs for the rest of their lives, but they won't. They won't. The sooner we can get services, the sooner we can get services to the children, the sooner, they can probably not use the services anymore.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I just had a thought about that and it slipped. But I feel like you mentioned, the earlier the services are, the earlier they can reach the child to find out if they have any special needs, the better it will be in the long run, right? And that's so critical. This is what I was thinking about, is that these services are the teachers and whoever else they're interacting with, they're bilingual, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay, yeah.
We cater to the families themselves as to what it is that they need.
Good.
And if we've never had it before, if it was a totally different language, but I'm sure that we would do everything we can to make sure that the parent would have whatever it is that they need in their specific language.
Yeah, wonderful. That's really great. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the program, the eligibility requirements. Could you share a little bit about that?
So for the families, as long as for the most part, if they qualify for TANF, for SNAP, or if they have Social Security income that's coming in, they automatically qualify. There is a lot of we go by the state guidelines, the income guidelines. Okay. It's very different. I can't give you an exact quote of how much it would be for a family, because it depends on if, there's depending on how many members of the family there are, how much money they're bringing in, if the mom is single, or, if there's two people working, or if they're going to school. There's just a lot of different variables. But for the most part, the payments are not that big. It's not like, when you go to a regular daycare center, it's like $300 to $400 a week. No, this is maybe $100 to $200 a month, and might even be lower, down to $1, $20 a month. Okay. But everybody is different, depending on how much.
And they won't know until they try and do their application. Yes. And what is the application process? So
all you would need to do is just come into one of our centers and, or give us a call and talk to one of our FSWs, and they'll be able to take your application right over the phone. Oh, good. Another way of doing it is if you go on to CPS. I don't have that information, but you would need to apply, on CPS and try to get it, try to see if you can find us on there. But the easiest way is just to come to our center or give us a call.
Okay, wonderful. So while we're on that topic, the website is metrofamily.org, mm-hmm. O-R-G. The phone number, what phone number would they call?
For the north side, they can call 773, 371 3770.
Okay. 773-371.
3770.
3770.
There's a lot of threes and sevens.
I know, right? Okay. So they could call, they could go to the website.
Yes.
And learn more about it. There's a lot of great information on the website, including all the services, the centers where they're located, events that are coming up, and also to donate to Metro, because again, it's a nonprofit organization. Mm-hmm. And careers.
And careers, yes.
Okay, great. So let's see, what else can we go over regarding that? Well, I guess I have a personal question for you. When you're not wrapped up in this important work, what do you do on your downtime?
Oh, I love to read.
You do?
I love to read. If I'm not reading, I'm listening to an audiobook, because I actually live in Brookfield, and so it takes me about 45 minutes to get to work, and so I listen to a lot of audiobooks. It's either spiritual or just for entertainment, or science fiction, and just
something to occupy your mind.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes. And usually if I just want to get away, it'll be something like fantasy, just something like a Superman, like something like that.
Well, luckily there's no limit to what you can listen to, right? In your car. So
yes.
You'll never run out of things. Okay, wonderful. So we talked about the locations. We talked about the eligibility requirements. You mentioned that there's right now 3 or 4 slots available for 4-year-olds, so people can call in and see if they qualify. And think of, I don't know if I'm missing anything. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
So I do want to talk about our hours. Our center is open all year round. So like if one of the things that, some parents, would prefer to go to CPS, the difference between them and us is that we're open during the summer as well. The only difference right now is our hours. We used to be open till 6, but right now we're just open until 4 o'clock.
So what time does the center open and what time does it close?
We open up at 7:30 and we close at 4 for the children.
Oh, I see.
And that's Monday through Friday.
Okay. Yeah, that's very important. I think that we covered the majority of the information. Let's talk a little bit before we wrap up about the things that are offered in the center for the children, right? They have the nutritional meals. What else do they do? What kind of activities?
So we use a creative curriculum to teach the children. And we use studies. And so depending on what the children want to learn, like not too long ago, a few years ago, we had a big storm and a lot of trees fell, and that was a great opportunity for the children to learn about trees. So we had a tree study, and
cute.
Some of the quotes that we got from the children, when they saw, like, for example, a willow tree, it's like, oh, that tree is crying. And then one of the trees had actually split open and there was red stuff coming out, and they were concerned because the tree was bleeding. And so that kind of opened up, a very teachable moment with all the children, and just going off of what their interests are. And, it just goes really, really, really long studying. And it's amazing because they want to learn more about it.
That's really great.
And we learned about, bugs and mosquitoes. I didn't know mosquitoes, use their blood for reproduction, and they ate, because I thought they ate blood. We all thought. And then they eat nectar. So that's why they go on the flowers, so they can eat that. So there was I learned a lot of stuff.
Right. You're
children.
Teaching and learning.
Yeah. So we do all of our lessons based on what the children want to learn. And then, of course, they eat. They get served 3 meals a day, and their nutritional meals. And we have a nutritionist who kind of goes over, what needs to be in there, making sure that they have, everything that they need, like the vegetables,
protein,
the whole grains, and the milk.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the nurturing. And I do want to say that we do have highly qualified teachers. All of our lead teachers, especially in the preschool program, they all have their licenses, their all 4 certificates. And our lead teachers in our toddlers and infants, they all have their bachelor's degrees. So all of our teachers are highly qualified. And then we do have, teachers with associates and things. And we're always encouraging them to go back to school, especially myself, just kind of pushing them. It's always better to.
Yeah, well, you're a great leader because you're not only, you're a great mentor because you've gone through the programs and got to your position, but you're also helping them build their future, right? Yes. By giving them the information on going back to school, what things they need to do to keep growing in the company, in the organization.
Yeah, so we can find those scholarships. The money is there. Like, the excuse is not, I don't have any money, because it's right there.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Wow, that's a really wonderful organization. Yes. Really great, really great. So one other question about the children. So are there individual or group classes? How many classes are there for the 50 somewhat children that are there?
At the north side, we have 4 classes. Okay. So I have 2 toddlers, 2 toddler classes. Each class has 3 teachers, and there's 8 max in each classroom. Oh. For my preschoolers, I have 2, and then there's 20 in each. I'm supposed to have 20 in each, and there's 3 teachers in each classroom.
That is amazing.
Yes.
3 teachers for 20 students. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't get that anywhere. No. That is high quality education for the kids.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Okay, wonderful. I don't know if there was anything else you'd like to bring up.
Oh, that was it.
I think we covered everything. Thank you so much, Yemina. I really appreciate it. This has really been interesting. I hope that the listeners will check metrofamily.org, the website, so they could learn more about the child centers that are in the city, and of course, see if they can apply to have their children in the centers or get the home service.
Yes.
And what is the home service called again?
They're called Empowering Families.
Empowering Families.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Yes. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Hey, thank you so much for listening today. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe so you can keep up with my latest episodes. You can find me on all social media platforms at Dalia the Realtor. To reach me directly, call me at 773-879-4855. I'll see you on the next episode. Make it a great day.